Dia de los Muertos is one of the most important holidays in Mexico. It is the Day of the Dead, when we take the time to commemorate loved ones who have passed away. It is when we welcome back the souls of our deceased relatives for a brief reunion that includes food, drink, music, and celebration. It is said that the gates of heaven open at midnight on November 1st, and the spirits of children can first rejoin their families for 24 hours for Dia de los Angelitos, Day of the Little Angels. At midnight on November 2nd, adult spirits can do the same. We treat the deceased as our honored guests and leave out offerings at grave sites or on altars, also called ofrendas. Ofrendas can be decorated with candles, bright yellow marigolds, photos, and their favorite foods. On the last day of Dia de los Muertos, we come together, dressed up with calavera or skeleton-painted faces, and have parades in the streets. My family is very religious, always attending Mass on Sundays, and of course celebrating this holy day of obligation. This year was especially important since we were honoring loved ones who have passed away due to the pandemic. I was in the church choir, and on the final day of celebration, I stayed behind to rehearse music for tonight's music program with my friend Rosa. The plan was to meet everyone at the cemetery in an hour. Before leaving, my mom told me to be careful since all the spirits would be out tonight. I didn't blame her. My family is very superstitious. As much as I love this holiday, it also creeped me out. Thinking about potentially welcoming back the souls of murderers and convicts, ghosts like La Planchada, and the most feared of all, of course, La Llorona, also known as the Weeping Woman, a soul in eternal sorrow for drowning her children and known to kidnap others at night. Growing up, my abuela told me that La Llorona was once a woman named Maria who drowned her children in a river after her husband left her for a younger woman. She then drowned herself, but was told she won't be allowed into heaven until she can find her missing children. Apparently, this was mere legend with the latest Hollywood films, but that didn't make it any less scary or real. When I checked the time, I realized I was cutting it short, so I had to leave. I waited half an hour for my friend who never showed up, which really pissed me off. She's always so tardy. It was already dark as I walked outside. I cursed under my breath. For some reason, I couldn't shake off this feeling of dread as I made my way to the cemetery. Passing by everyone dressed in full costume was starting to scare me, and I started questioning whether or not they were dead or alive. So I took the shortcut through the forest to avoid any and all interaction. There came a moment when I thought to myself, I'm all alone. What if something happens? So I started running at the speed of light. I just wanted to be home with hot cocoa, but the night had other plans for me. The moment the world stopped for me was when I heard something in the distance. Something like a weeping, a woman crying. And you didn't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out who it was. La Llorona was around. Now, the feeling of listening to those creepy stories about a dead woman is far beyond less terrifying than finding her. Yeah, I found her. Or maybe she found me. I'm not totally sure. Because I spotted something in the distance, a white silhouette that didn't have its feet on the ground. The shape started to get closer. And tell me, what kind of glowing figure appears in the middle of nowhere to chase you? Because you can bet that it was after me specifically, since I was all alone. I booked it, escaping the forest and yelling at the top of my lungs trying to find another living being, but having zero luck. It felt as if I was running so slowly and wasn't getting away fast enough.
Hija mía, te encontré. Ven aquí con mami.
My blood rushed to my head, and I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. When I closed my eyes, I can still see her face coming at me full speed, claiming me as one of her dead children.
I've been waiting for you. No tengas miedo. We can finally be together forever.
I prayed to all the saints I knew to intercede for me, but none came. The wailing was so close to me, and the thought that she was just a tug away from finally having me made me join in duet. Now, what I will tell you is not made up. It's the reason why I fervently believe that the one that appeared out of thin air was La Llorona. At one point, when the moon was glowing, I was able to see a little better. My only thought was to get the hell out of there. And that's when I felt it.
Eres mía.
The wailing stopped, and a cold hand gently touched my shoulder. It was enough to make my soul jump out of my body. I screamed, God knows I did it, almost exploding my lungs, and I didn't care whether I was on the right track to the cemetery or not. I truly felt her dark presence. I told myself not to turn around. But my reflexes betrayed me, and when I did, this is hard for me to say. I saw her. Her jaw was surprisingly low, and from her eye sockets flowed a blackish liquid. She was a tall, thin spirit, surprisingly beautiful, with long flowing black hair. She was wearing a white gown and veil.
Mi hermosa hija.
She made this horrible, piercing shriek that I hear on quiet nights even to this day, and started wailing again. I tripped, trying to run away, and when I twisted my ankle, I thought that was the end of it all. I closed my eyes and cried out in pain as she grabbed me by my hair and started dragging me back into the forest.
We will be together forever, hija mía.
But out of sheer luck, maybe from one of the saints I prayed to, she loosened her grip, and her wailing turned into only a whimper. I opened my eyes.
Deja mi nieta en paz, demonio.
I'd recognize that voice anywhere. I turned around.
Abuela?
Tears rolled down my face as I stared at my grandma who had passed away months ago due to COVID. I missed her so much. I hugged her while thanking her for saving my life. Go to your mother now. She is waiting for you. I reluctantly let go of her and continued running until I reached the gates of the cemetery and ran straight into my mother's arms.
Oh, Dios mío, mija. ¿Qué pasó?
My parents saw me scared to death. I explained what happened to me. My mom started crying. They talked about how irresponsible it was to leave me alone, but smiled when I told them about Abuela paying me a visit. I looked around and asked them where Rosa was, and they looked very confused. Rosa's parents told me they dropped her off at the church for rehearsal. As soon as they learned that she never made it inside, we rushed over to the church in hopes of finding her there. And in the distance, I could hear the wails again. I had a horrible sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. I tried to stay optimistic. But when we arrived, we found Rosa face down in the fountain in front of the church. And on top of her, La Llorona was holding her head underwater. When we approached the fountain though, La Llorona looked up at us angrily. Then, in a split second, she made this blood-curdling scream and vanished. Rosa's father ran up to his daughter's limp body and immediately performed CPR. Luckily, Rosa was okay. If we had showed up even a second later, I'm sure this would be a different story. So, I urge you, beware of ghosts like La Llorona on El Día de los Muertos.